okay.
We don't have to talk about my camera not working because of.
Alrighty then.
Hello.
For the second time. Apparently the last 8 minutes of content is just for you and me, Andy.
Yeah, it's just fine.
Hello.
Some technical issues anyway. It's fine.
This is Andy.
I'm back.
This is a very holiday season concrete CMS Town Hall, December 2022. Good to see you. Happy holidays. It's going to be a quick one because we just burned 8 minutes and I got a hard stop. So that's fun. Let's see. I think things are working now. I want to confirm there in the Slack channel, Jess. That'd be great. First bit of news. Don't forget about LTS support. So if you are running Concrete version 8 and you're getting some message from your host saying, hey, we're going to stop supporting, you're going to turn off PHP 7.4 and your site's going to break. That's true. Your site will break if you leave your site with them. However, if you move over to one of the hosts on our delightful, I'm not going to bring this up. If you go to Get Started and Hosting on Concrete CMS, you will find halfway down the page, need something cheaper, and some links to HostDash and A2 Hosting. And we have talked with both these hosting companies. They are run by smart people who are eager to be helpful, and they will offer you a PHP 7.4 LTS, a long-term support version. That will be very reasonably safe and keep your version 8 site running for the foreseeable future. And you can plan to upgrade to version 9 on a schedule that makes sense for you. So I would encourage you to do that. In other news, we are about to show some cool interface improvements to Concrete that are coming out in Concrete version 9.2, which is slated to be released early in the first quarter of next year. 9.2 is actually got a lot of stuff in it. Way more. I mean, this won't be difficult to upgrade to, so we're not going to call it version 10. But if this were another software product, they would absolutely say this is a major version release because we've got a brand new spanking API that makes Concrete truly a hybrid headless CMS platform, which is super cool. And there's some interface improvements. So some of these improvements, much of these improvements are actually driven out of ideas from Katalysis, who is a Concrete partner from the UK, and then a longtime active community member, and started a GitHub issue some time ago saying, hey, moving from the editing experience in Concrete 5.6 and earlier, which was really chunky, into the kind of very minimalist editing experience of Concrete version 7. Cool, but perhaps we've overcorrected because editing mode is a little sensitive and fussy. And so, hey, is the desire with editing mode to really be pixel perfect to view mode, or is it to make a intuitive and easy to use editing experience? Because if so, there's ways we can improve this better. So Katalysis has done a great job in kind of presenting those ideas in a way that is like consumable and actionable, and Andy has taken some of those actions. So I am going to share this screen, I think, if I'm lucky, and do things correctly. Yes, I believe it's happening, and we're going to buckle up and watch.
But yeah, so here we go. This is a work in progress demo of a new in-page editing experience based on the feedback from Franz and Katalysis, and I'm sure many, many, many others. So first thing I want to do is I want to add a page to my site. Am I logged out? Yes, I appear to be.
Hopefully you can hear this video.
And so the first thing you'll notice here is there are these little tabs instead of the tabs that only show up on hover. These tabs are always there. They try to get out of the way. They aren't as chunky as the huge bars that span the entire length of the old 5.6 interface. They used to be on the left. They could go back on the left. I centered them as an experiment. So, most of these empty areas function the same way as before. transitions are a little bit more dialed in and uniform across this entire experience. Clicking on any area should highlight the entire area. So now this is not as important when you're working with a page that's mostly empty, but with a large page, it's kind of nice to be able to click on something and see the entire area highlight and know that, yes, that's where the main area begins and ends. And this is the case for global areas as well. So you can go down here. Again, not that useful in a small page like this, but when you're working with the huge home page in Atomic, you will be thankful for this addition. Next thing I want to kind of call out as well is when you hover over things, you'll see that the move cursor, the move icon here is now it is now floating in the middle. This is a katalysis proposed change that I thought was pretty slick, actually. Again, this is meant to be iterative, so there's no delete icon here. The menu works the same as it has. We're just trying to kind of dial in the presentation and make things a bit more uniform. So let's get to a next big change, which is if you add a layout, you'll see that the layout now is also always bordered. And it has a separate piece of visual, some visual touch that will make it clear that it is a layout. It is this sort of brown color. And layout areas as well have this brown color inside them. They also, if you click on them, will highlight the same way that other areas do. And they will also dim the contents inside them as well. So, another nice change here is if you hover over the block itself, you'll lose the border around the block, but the block itself will still get a slightly darker semi-transparent overlay as well when you try and drag stuff around. So it becomes clear that you're still working with a block. Seriously, put this up side by side with version 9, and there's a lot of refinement to this. You'll also see that unlike we currently show you the name of the container when you hover over it, and that's cool. Now it is omnipresent here. So we have the 2-column bootstrap layout, and it even matches the icon of the, it even matches the icon here. And if you click on this, you'll see we have moved the controls for things like edit container layout, edit layout design, etc. from the internal areas. You used to have to click on one of these areas to affect the entire layout, which always felt like a hack to me. We have moved those up to here. And if you click on this, you will see that the entire layout is highlighted as well. And again, there's no move control in here because all of this stuff still exists in this toolbar the same way as before. Really, this is meant to be solely kind of visual refinement. There have obviously been little bits of new functionality here and there, as you'll see in a second, but this is meant to be iterative in nature. The next thing you'll see is, let's go and actually let's do it this way. If I want to add a container here, you can see, if I go to containers, let's add a responsive grid of 6. Now you can see we have a similar treatment for containers. This is a purple background. I'd like to add in some abilities to potentially customize this. Themes can do it if they know what they're doing, but it'd be nice if there were some way to set this at the theme level. And you can see here that container inner areas work the same way. You can click on them, highlight them and their contents as well. Clicking on the notch at the top will do the same for the highlighting. And edit container design and delete container, which used to be floating over in the corner, are now shown up here. And again, the title of the layout and the title of the container is always in the page as opposed to be kind of highlighting as well. And unlike other bits of functionality, we also include the little drag interface here because that's the way containers work. They've got this little, they used to have this little icon over here, and now you can drag it. So let's try to see if this addresses containers can be difficult to move. So if I drag this, you can see if I go up here, I cannot actually drag this over here. And actually, I shouldn't be able to drag this here as well. So that is also something we will have to deal with. This is really should only be able to go from here, up to here, which is fine. You cannot drag it up here. You cannot drag it here. And it should be painfully clear that you cannot do that. It is kind of funny, though, that the internal areas here are highlighted. It won't actually let you drop it in there, as you can see, but that's something I should fix. But also, you can see we have overhauled the way that the hotspots work. I might need to dial back some of the animation. I think the animation is fine. The colors might be a little garish. We used to have sort of outlines that would show up, but they were they kind of required, they all butted up next to each other, whether they were inside an area or inside a container that sort of abutted the area. And they also were small, and they would get larger as you hovered over them, but that's not that useful when you're trying to hit that small hit target. So now we have actual heights, and those heights are chained to kind of an animation. So what you get is you actually... Here, you will see if we try to drag a feature in, you can see everything kind of expands as we do this. Everything is painfully obvious where it can go. And it is no longer so difficult to do a guessing game. And, some of our hit math may be improvable at some point in the future. You still might have to jiggle it around in order to get things to take, but it's much more obvious when it is actually going in the spot where you want it to be. So if I were to do this, test icon in here, and now you can see that I've got my blocks in there. And blocks themselves don't have tons of new borders or tons of new controls or notches. Like, a lot of this stuff is still very much the same. But my hope is that the kind of persistent borders that hopefully should not be too, they should not be too visually difficult to deal with. We didn't, 5.6, when you put a page in edit mode, it looked like you threw a bunch of glitter all over your page. Like, we still want things to look refined and to not have them really change the layout of the page crazily when you put it in edit mode. But having the ability to really differentiate where these areas goes, I think is very important. And so you can just kind of see, like, working with this stuff here is just a much easier experience. And I'm really pretty pleased with this. And I can't wait to get some feedback on it.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, I laughed at that glitter remark. That made me laugh. I forgot I said that.
Yeah, I saw Andy rolling his eyes at himself halfway through.
Like, come on,
we're gonna
man.
the speed. Get to it, man.
It doesn't matter that you can't, that it highlights the inner areas. We can fix that. You don't need to spend 10 minutes talking about it.
No, but it is super cool. Yeah, I think much better. Just a kind of intuitive editing experience. Oh, there's Catalyst right now.
Yeah, I have seen some updates, and I think we've got a couple little things to hash out, and good feedback so far. Yeah, this is going to make a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely a work in progress. There's like, I think you were mentioning at one point, like, we could make the colors changeable by theme, and I'd kind of advocate for not doing that because it's going to make Evan's job of documentation a nightmare. And there'll be some stuff to figure out in the wash, but I don't know. Feels like it starts to embrace the idea of containers a lot better than how we were in the past, where you're just kind of like trying to find a hit area and hoping that it ends up somewhere that looks pretty close. So stoked about it. Great job, Andy. Great job, Catalyst, for bringing it up. Thank you for the constructive feedback. I don't know if I said it this time or in the 8 minutes we wasted talking to nobody, but this is the right way to get your ideas in front of Andy and Korvin and the core team. Go ahead and make a GitHub issue, and concrete's cool. It'd be cooler if you did this and that and the other, and then this stuff happens. All right. Got to keep trucking because we got a hard stop. Andy, do you want to get into the thank yous?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet.
A lot of good submissions this month. Thank you to mlocati, hissy, mnakalay, JeffPaetkau, V35HR4J, BSalaeddin, Lawrence von Strijland, apaccou, and Mesuva for code submissions. And keeping the GitHub issues going are mlocati, ccmEnlil, hissy, yildirimmurat, sapland, moriaiy, mdius, bvessen, katzueno, clairemarikosmith, craigmarcussen, mnakalay, MarcinPrzepiorka, darrellgw, BSalaeddin, bleenders, systematic, Phemisters, katalysis, aohlrogge, mat9mg, MR060, coteo, asamikubota, madesimplemedia, and baxterdmutt. And finally, thank you so much to people who submit and work on the documentation, because it's a huge help. That includes Mesuva, katzueno, and talakman.
Awesome. thank you. I would say it every month, but it never is less true. It's really cool to be part of something that is bigger than any of us. So, yeah, just really appreciate everybody's help. Thank you so much. In that spirit, every month we have a Golden Baton Award that gets passed from one community member to the next. It gets you a special badge. It gets you $250 in marketplace credit. And, you know, just a nod from one community member to another because, you know, it's like a baton. It's handed off. So last month, the baton was awarded to Fabian Bitter, a longtime concrete pro from Germany that has a number of really cool add-ons in the marketplace. And he sent us a video, which is cool. I'll see if I can add it to the stream.
Thank you for the Golden Baton Award. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I want to nominate Franz. Franz is the CEO of PortlandLabs and the founder of Concrete CMS. And he's a great guy, and he did a lot for the community. And yeah, at this point, I want to nominate him for the Golden Baton Award. And thank you, and see you soon.
Well, thank you, Fabian. That's very nice. I appreciate that. I don't think I can accept the Golden Baton because I invented the Golden Baton. So that feels weird to me. But I will take it back and hand it on to somebody else. So happy holidays to you, and I appreciate the nod. That does feel nice. I am going to pass the Golden Baton to a community member that has been around, oh boy, for a long, long time, more than a decade. I think it's 2010. Has got many thousands of karma points and badges galore. And if I can share my screen, I'll do this in a weird way. Been very active on the forums, helping people, is a services partner. Look at that, 70,000 karma points, more than 10 years of being around. And, you know, has been an important part of the concrete community that I know our customer success team is always happy to see him answering stuff in the forums. So I will pass the Golden Baton to Jeremy Rogers, handle Giro or Euro. I don't know how you want to pronounce that, but thank you. Giro, you get the Golden Baton this month. Good job. All right. Stop sharing that screen. Now is the time where we check in with the PRB. Couple of add-ons approved. And then we're going to do some quick questions, and we're going to stop pretty fast here. So if you got a question, ask it now, and I'll try to answer it. Let's see. Share screen. Nope. Share the Chrome tab. Oh, down to the wire. Here we go. Come on.
Hello,
buddy.
So today our PRB video is going to be a short one. We have two packages to present, so it's going to be only me. First, we'll start with the members module by dWebmaker. It's not exactly a membership app. It's more of a recurring invoicing app. So you set up invoices and how often they should be sent. And you can set up reminders, and all payments will be recorded through the app, so you have access to the information from the dashboard. Members can register themselves, or you can do it for them from the dashboard. And once in the system, users will start receiving regular invoices. You can decide to create user accounts or not. If you do, registered users with an account have access to a personal page with their details. And all payments go through PayPal. So it's an advanced invoicing system, recurring invoicing system. And the app is full of settings to let you control the experience. So you can control the mailing, the reminders, the payments, the amount, the currency, the frequency extra, the PayPal page aspect. The package is not version 9 ready yet, and it's $125 in the marketplace. And our second package is Form Reform Display by John DeFish. Last month, I introduced you to his latest package, Form-Reform. So this package works with it. It lets you present the submitted form data on the front end in a filtered way. So you can filter and list results, or you can present one specific result. The package comes with the templates to get you started by listing data in a table or a definition list. And obviously, since they are blocks, you can template them yourself easily, so you can present your data any way you want. Of course, as usual, John has lots of examples and extensive documentation on his website, so you should definitely go have a look. It's free on the marketplace, but it does require you to have a license for Form-Reform, of course. It's Concrete 9 ready and also PHP 8 ready. And that's it for today. That was a short one. So have fun and see you next month. Bye.
Awesome. Just in the nick of time. I got a minute left. So we have one question that was in the pool of questions that we're trying to do a better job of keeping track of for this. MarcinPrzepiorka asks, why does Concrete CMS install Elemental as the default empty content when Elemental itself is not properly based on Bootstrap 5?
That's a good question. It's reasonable. We probably should create a version of the empty sample content that uses the atomic theme. You do have to have a theme by default. So even if your site is empty, so there's no content in it, it does have to have a theme today when you create it. So we do have to choose one. It would definitely make more sense to have it be atomic. In practice, though, it's not that important really, because usually when installing something empty, you're making it empty because you're going to do something bespoke on top of it, whether that's installing a package with a theme on it, or it's nothing stopping you from activating atomic on top of your empty site. It's just one extra step. There's nothing that using Elemental out of the box as the blank template, locks you into. So probably would make sense for it to be atomic, but in practice, I don't think people installing blank content are really I don't think they care too much about the theme that is set to be default on it.
I mean, if they're installing blank content, expecting there to be like best practices around a grid system and that kind of stuff, Atomic's probably a better blank slate. So yeah, good idea. Certainly, if that were a GitHub issue, I think that'd probably be pretty easy for y'all to accept and move on.
Sure.
All right, guys. I gotta run. I'm sure there'll be some discussion around the editing experience. There is a GitHub issue around that, so shouldn't be hard to find in GitHub, and you can feel free to chime in with I hate these colors, or I love them, or you should also do this, that, and the other, and we're eager to hear more. So thank you so much. Happy holidays to everybody. I hope that you have a delightful time with your loved ones, and take a moment to step away from your computer and remember what's important in life. And we'll see you back in January.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you in the new year.